Picture this. A friend messages you on a Sunday night. They just got handed Snowflake at work and they are terrified they will run up a huge bill. They have never even opened it. Sound familiar? By the end of this video, that is you except calm, you will have run a query, built a table and loaded real data. We start with the one idea that makes the whole thing click, then the actual commands, and then the day one mistakes that scare beginners off the bill. No fluff, just the start you wish someone gave you. Here is the one idea. In Snowflake, your data and the engines that query that data live in separate places. That is the whole trick. Your data just sits there always available, one shared copy. And when you need to ask it a question, you switch on an engine which Snowflake calls a warehouse. When you are done, you switch the engine off. Think of a car. The fuel tank and the engine are separate. You can upgrade the engine without touching the fuel. Hold on to that picture. Everything else in this lesson hangs off it. So why does Snowflake even exist? Old warehouses, glued storage and compute together in one box. If you needed more horsepower, you paid for more storage too, whether you wanted it or not. And the reverse, more data meant a bigger machine you ran around the clock. Snowflake split those two apart. Now you scale compute to match the work in front of you, and you pay only while that engine is running. That is the reason teams moved over, less operations work, no servers to babysit, pay for what you use. Let me show you the pieces you will actually touch. At the top is your account, inside it a warehouse which is your compute engine, and separately a database which holds a schema which holds a table. Say that order out loud, database is schema table. The warehouse is the engine, the database, schema and table are simply where your data lives. One more thing controls who can do what, and that is a role to start. You will just use a default role that Snowflake already gives you. That is the entire map. Take a look at the worksheet. This is your home base. You write SQL here, you hit run, and your results appear right below. That is the loop you will live in. Now look at the top of the screen. There are little selectors for your role, your warehouse, and your database. Together, those three are what Snowflake calls your context. Remember that word, context. Picking the wrong context is the number one source of beginner confusion. It makes things look broken when they are not. We will come straight back to it. Alright, your first query, type select current version with empty parentheses and hit run. That is it. Snowflake hands you back its version number, and just like that you have run your first query. Your results show up right below the editor in a clean grid. Notice what we did not do, no install, no server, no setup. You opened a browser, you typed one line and the cloud answered. That is the feeling we are chasing all video. Small command, real result. Let us run a few more starter queries. First, select 1 plus 1. Snowflake says 2, which proves the engine is doing math for you. Now, the useful one, select current user, current role, and current warehouse. That single query shows you your context, and it is your best friend when something does not work. Here is the encouraging part. SQL in Snowflake is just standard. SQL, if you already know how to write a select, you are not starting from zero, you are already moving. Now you control cloud, compute yourself, run create warehouse, name it my WH with warehouse size set to extra small, auto suspend set to 60 and auto resume set to true. Let me decode that. Extra small is the cheapest engine there is. Auto suspend equals 60 means after 60 seconds of sitting idle, it shuts off and stops billing. Auto resume means it wakes up automatically the moment you run something. Then run show warehouses and there it is in the list. You just turned a cloud engine on and gave it a safety switch all in one line. Remember context? Here is how you set it in code. Use role, size admin, use warehouse, my WH, use database demo. Those three lines tell Snowflake who you are acting as, which engine to run on, and which database to work inside. Think of them as three dials feeding into your session. You turn the dials first, then you run your real work, and here is the line to tape to your monitor. Most of the time when a beginner says it does not work, the truth is just the wrong context selected. Let us talk roles in plain English. A role is simply a set of permissions, and you always act as a role when you run anything. You are never just you are you wearing a role as a beginner. You usually start in size admin, which can build things, or a role your admin hands you. There is a top role called account admin, and it is the most powerful one in the whole account. Treat it like the master key. Use it sparingly. Never for daily work when you see a not authorized error later. This is exactly the idea that makes it make sense. Now meet the error you will absolutely hit: object does not exist or not authorized. It looks scary, but here is the secret. It is almost never a missing object. It is your context. First check it. Run select current role, current database. Is that what you expected? Usually it is not. The fix is calm and simple. Use role and name the role that owns the object. Use database and name the right one. Then rerun the exact same query. 9 times out of 10 it just works. Time to build something that is yours. Run create database demo that gives you a place for your data to live then. Run create table demo.public.customers with columns ID as an integer, name as a string and city as a string. Notice how I wrote the table name, database schema table fully spelled out. That is called a fully qualified name. It tells Snowflake exactly which table you mean with no guessing. Get in this habit early. It saves you from the which table did I mean confusion down the road. Now, let us put real data in and ask it a question. Run insert into demo.public.customers with 3 rows: Asha in Pune, Ravi in Delhi, and May in Pune. Then run select star from that table, and there is your data staring back at you. Now the fun part: select city count star from customers grouped by city. Pune shows 2, Delhi shows 1. That right there is your first mini analysis. You did not just store data, you asked it something and it answered. Here is the gentlest way to load a file. Just use the interface, no code at all. You pick a CSV from your computer, you choose or create the table it should land in, and you click load. Behind the scenes, Snowflake writes the loading command for you. Later, you will script this yourself with stages and copy into. And that is a whole pipeline video on its own, but not today. Today start simple, get real data in, see it work, feel the win, then graduate to the automation when you are ready. Let us peek behind that button for a second. When you click load in the interface, this is the scripted path Snowflake runs for you. First you stage the file, then you copy it into a table. Staging just means putting the file somewhere Snowflake can reach. The put command uploads a local file to a table stage. Then copy into reads from that stage with a file format that says this is CSV and skip the header row. That is it stage. Then copy. You do not need to memorize this, yet just know it is no magic. Okay, the part everyone is nervous about: billing. Take a breath. You're billed for the time your warehouse spends running, measured in credits, plus a little for storage. You're not billed per query. And here is the line that lets you sleep. A suspended warehouse costs you nothing for compute. 0. That auto suspend setting we added earlier is your safety net. Quietly switching the meter off when you walk away. Picture a taxi meter running, it ticks parked and off, it sits at 0. Turn it off and the fear goes with it. Let us collect the common beginner errors in one place with the fix for each. First, object does not exist or not authorized. That is almost always the wrong context. A role or database mismatch or a typo in the name. Second, a query just hangs or complains about the warehouse. That means your warehouse is suspended or you never selected one. Third, you get empty results when you expected rows. Check which database and schema you are actually in. Using current database, see the pattern. Almost every early problem is context, not catastrophe. Now the short list of what not to do on day 1. 1. Do not leave a large warehouse running. Size it extra small and let it auto suspend. 2. Do not select star from a huge table just to look around. That scans everything and burns credits. Put a limit on it. 3. And this is the big one. Never disable auto suspend. That single setting prevents almost every scary beginner bill you have heard horror stories about. Leave it on always. Step back and look at what you just learned. First, the mental model. Storage and compute are separate, and you switch the engine on only when there is work to do. Second, the working loop. Set your context, create, load, query, and keep an eye on the bill with auto suspend. That is not theory you will forget by tomorrow. That is a real working foundation. You can sit down and use right now an hour ago. This might have felt intimidating. Look how far you came. Let me give you the table that beginners keep mixing up. 3 words, 3 jobs. Compute is the warehouse, that is the engine you switch on, and it costs you while it runs. Storage is your database schema and table. That is where the data lives. It is cheap and it is always there. Security is the role. That is what you are allowed to do. Confusing these 3 is the single biggest beginner trip up. So screenshot this slide: warehouse runs, database holds, role permits, keep those straight, and you are ahead of most people. Here is your cheat sheet to keep beside you. The object model in order account, then warehouse, then database, then schema, then table. Your first command, select current version, create warehouse, the use statements, create table, insert and the interface or copy load, and the golden rules, the ones that save you, extra small with auto suspend on. Fully qualified names always and limit on your exploratory queries. Pin this somewhere, these few things carry you through your entire first week. So where do you go from here? Look at what you can do now. You can query, you can build, you can load, and you genuinely do not fear the bill anymore. That is a real start, not a tour. Next, on this channel, we build an actual data pipeline and we go deep on that storage versus compute idea that started everything today. If you want the complete journey, the full Snowflake masterclass link is right below. Subscribe so the next one finds you and tell me in the comments what is the first thing you are going to build.